Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. So we talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Ernst Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. The First Responder Bowl is between the 7-5 Texas State Bobcats and the 6-6 Rice Owls. Both of these teams had up and down years. Texas State got a big win over Baylor in the non-conference, but they really struggled in Sun Belt play, especially down the stretch. And T.J Finley, their starting quarterback, the Auburn transfer, he had 24 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. And at times he flashed his potential this season, but he still was a bit turnover prone. And there were a few games where he did not have that big of an impact. JT Daniels, he's medically retired from football. That's very tough for the Rice Owls. He had 21 touchdowns and 7 interceptions this season, had a good year, and was looking to end his college career the right way to possibly be able to go to the NFL. But now he is not going to be playing any more football at all because he's been hurt too many times and he's calling it quits. And A.J. Padgett, the backup quarterback, is going to have to play in this game for Rice, which is going to be tough for them to navigate. On the ground, though, for Texas State, Ismail Ahmadi, he had 1,209 yards and 10 touchdowns. He had a great season, whereas Rice's leading rusher, he only had 707 yards and 5 touchdowns, Dean Connors. But Luke McCaffrey, he's going to be key for the Rice Owls. The younger brother of Christian McCaffrey, he had 963 yards and 12 touchdowns, and sometimes he is also used on the ground. So he is kind of a dual threat player, just like his older brother. So Rice is going to have to lean heavily on him without JT Daniels if they want to win this bowl game. Rice is favored in the FBI predictor, but Texas State is favored in the betting odds, and that's probably because of the fact JT Daniels is out. There's not really any other significant player for either team that's not going to be playing in this bowl game, other than JT Daniels being unable to play. So me and WillND, we break down this First Responder Bowl and whether we believe that Texas State, led by T.J Finley, can they get their 8th win of the year and knock off the Rice Owls, or will Texas State do the thing that Josh Pate always says you should not do and lose to food, and Rice will be able to get their 7th win of the year, even though JT Daniels is out, and the Owls will be able to knock off Texas State in the First Responder Bowl.
Texas State Rice will have a bit more offense.
Yes. Now, the over-under 60 on that one. JT Daniels, though, I think is injured. I don't think he can play. So he's missed the last few games.
And looking at Texas State here, they have, of course, had that big win against Baylor. After that, they didn't really do too much.
I mean, they beat Jackson State by a lot, but it was Jackson State. The Coastal Carolina game, that one was kind of interesting because even though they barely lost that one, they were down big in that game. And then the rain really started to happen in that one, and then Texas State was able to kind of come back because Coastal Carolina coasted a bit. So they really lost that game by more. And the Arkansas State lost 77-31. That's not good. That's an ugly loss. I mean, they got some decent performances sprinkled in there, but it doesn't really look like Texas State had all that good of a year overall.
That win at Baylor was definitely the high point.
It was the high point, but Baylor ended up being abysmal, and they barely won. It was still good, I mean, for a team like Texas State to win. But T.J Finley is a talented guy, even though he's never really put it all together, and he was their quarterback this year, so that was part of the reason they had success. The good thing for both these teams is that there are no opt-outs, which is good. There are no opt-outs for either team, and the spread has Texas State favored by 4.5. Rice lost to Texas. They beat Houston. I mean, that
was a crazy game.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. But almost not as crazy as the West Virginia-Houston game, though. Mm-hmm. Not as crazy as that. That game was insane, but still very crazy. But that was the highlight of Rice's season. Beating ECU, they were bad. They lost to UConn. That's not good. UConn did not have a good year, so that was not a good loss. Obviously, losing to Tulane, SMU, UTSA, all those teams were better than them. And then they beat Charlotte and Florida Atlantic, who didn't really have good seasons. So it doesn't really seem like either team did that good outside of the one game. But I think the big thing with this is you got to remember that Rice knocked off Houston with JT Daniels. JT Daniels was starting. He did not start those last few games, and you could see that the results weren't as good. So I don't know. Texas State didn't have that good of a season outside of the Baylor win. I know they went 7-5, but they did not have as good of a year as people thought after they beat Baylor. But Rice, with no JT Daniels, because I'm, again, assuming he's not playing because he's been out for the last few games, doesn't seem like he's going to be able to return. And actually, now that I think about it, I know he's not going to be able to play because I remember he's retiring from football. You remember seeing that, Will, on Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
JT Daniels is retiring from football. So, yes, he can't play. So, I'm going to go with Texas State to win 24-21.
Yeah, I'll go a bit of a shootout. I'll go Texas State to win 34-28.
Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below whether you think that Texas State or Rice will win this bowl game and why, and what you think about me and WillND's pick for the First Responder Bowl. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I'll see you next time.